Hello and welcome. In this video we're going to take a look at a couple of SSDs that have failed, see if there's anything obvious and just have a look at the differences in how they're built. We've got here an A-Pacer, probably pronounced that wrong, just a little standalone 16 gig SSD. Now on here looks like we've got a couple of memories and a driver, but I'm going to put that to one side so we can see that as a comparison. Let's start with this SK Hynix. This is a 120 gig drive. It's coming up, when you do a drive test, it's coming up red as far as the life expectancy, so even though it still boots, it's bin food. I don't totally know what I expect to find in it. Big red frame. Okay, that wasn't what I expected. Oh, this is the one I think that wouldn't initialize at all. They put some heat transfer paste here, but let me just bring you in closer on that. This one wasn't initializing. Look here. That looks like a point of failure. Interesting. The other side's got nothing. So we've got, that's probably the memory itself, and there's going to be an interface and some sort of interpreter or something. I'm not sure. And I would also say this is capable of doing different capacities with different sized drives. Okay, let's have a look at the next one. I'll come back and we'll compare them all. Now we can see that's the SK Hynix because it's branded on there. Next one I'm going to have a look at is a Corsair. This is a 60 gig. This one is not initializing. I'm going to go for the same technique of get a screwdriver in there. So this is an older drive compared to the Hynix. And you can see here there's a lot more memory modules and a bigger board now. Is there anything on the other side? Let's have a look. There's a screw I missed. Look at that. Memory on the other side as well. The difference in technology, and that's quite heavy. Last but not least, we have an OZR. These are, well, when they came to memory, OZR memory is considered to be good. This particular drive has failed. It shows its wear indicator is very high. So, you know, you wouldn't use it for anything. There goes my plastic case. Look at that. Okay, let's take that out. I'll put these bits in the bin and come back. Okay, so let's have a look at the differences in technology. That one there is 16 gig, followed by these two that are 64 gig, and the one on the right is 128. Now, what I kind of find quite interesting, these ones, the memory modules are soldered on the end. This one has 16 modules for 64 gig. This one has 8 modules for 64 gig. and this one is 128 gig out of 2 modules. There's an interesting similarity. Look, they're both using the same brand of drive controller. So that is a Corsair and a OZR with an A-Data. It's branded internally. Now, obviously there's nothing to look at on these other than there's some memory chips. But I just thought before I threw these in the bin, it's a bit of an interesting look at the changes in technology. These two are about the same era, and I find it interesting that the more premium band is using larger storage modules. Let's have a little look to see if we can see any branding on them. I'm just going to bring the camera right in. You can see the manufacturer mark, which is the letter M there. I'm not sure what brand that is, but I can't, off the top of my head, I can't remember, but you can probably look it up. So we've got on here 4 memory modules and a drive controller making 16 gig. Let's go on to the Corsair. Now, the interesting thing I find with this is it's branded as A-Data on one side and Corsair on the other. Now, the memory is the same brand. This is 64, this is 16. I just wonder if the memory modules are actually the same. They're not, because these have got to be twice the capacity. No, they are the same memory size, look. Looks like they're actually the same part number. So, interestingly, this little one here has got the same memory chips as this one here. So, what I'm kind of guessing is they're fairly cheap in the day, I don't know. So, we've got a Sandforce controller. Now, is that the same controller? It is. Okay, that's interesting. So, it turns out that the 16 gig is using the same memory as the 64. We're just using twice as many chips. A little look at the back of it. Oh, power supply there, little buck and boost. And then we go on to the OZR, which is using a different type of memory. Because the memory on these made by a different brand and has twice the capacity of the memory on the OZR drive and the what was that? I can't remember the brand. The other one, the A-Pacer, which claims to be a MLC drive. So I don't know what this is. And it's OZR Technologies. And finally, we're going to bring into picture the SK Hynix. And there we go. So this one, all of the chips on it are actually manufactured by SK Hynix. That's not good. I've got 2 of these. Let's see if you can read any of the numbering on the other one any better. It's not wonderful, is it? We can get part-to-part numbers. But I mean, looking at this, it looks like these have got really hot in use, which is entirely possible because these reported, when I looked on Drive DX, these drives gave me warnings for temperature. And I think there you can see the signs of it, that these memory modules have got quite warm. Well, I hope that has been an interesting little side diversion and is of some interest. But have a look at my other videos, click like, subscribe, etc. please, I'd appreciate that. And I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you.